start recording on that bit. Plan today is to have an animation that's a limited number of frames, so everything's sort of happening over a period of 12, but there's a lot, maybe 12 frames, maybe a little less, just because I don't want to have to cut some more paper right now. But instead of having previous occasions where if something makes some sort of contact with another shape, I treat it as like layers. This time what I want to do is treat it as a solid body that they're all on the same plane. So if it interacts with something, it has to push and move it around, and it can't just overlap it. It's just a basic grid that I have drawn now, but I might play with it a little bit. Where's my ruler at? There's my ruler. That was just me getting a feel of size, but I think this will be more interesting if it's not quite as rigid. Maybe we'll make this 5 shapes. Two of them be triangles. For my own sake, I might have them all at least facing the same direction, just because it's an easier thing for me to deal with. Not having to twist them around. But I'll see what it looks like when I sketch it out. So now let's fill up this ink. This feels off center. It's just slightly up. Okay. And zoom in just a little. That's a little better. Okay. Put that away. And grab this guy. See how this one behaves. I might do this just as shapes and then come back and add faces, but start off with an established reference collection of faces and go from there. One's worse. One's bad too. Any of these in decent order. This one's okay. Just to make sure of stuff, I'm going to mute this and check my audio playback. Seems fine. That was just me making sure, because sometimes when my numbers aren't as engaged, it seems like it correlates with me having bad audio. That's a starting frame. Make sure that it's dry. And I think I am going to do this as shapes and then come back and add faces, because that makes it much easier. This one's got some stuff on it, probably from me just now. Some ink on this finger. So that is going to be a 1. And just for my own sake, I tend to animate and draw starting in the upper left, because it's probably a reflection of how I know how to read top left across and down to the bottom right. So, how you doing, Zalek? This is just a basic animation going through, taking a grid of some faces, all oriented in the same direction. 12 frames of animation, but having it most times in the past when I've done this sort of thing where you have a bunch of shapes that are shifting around, they overlap or go underneath or above, but I want to try this time around having it where they don't, where they're all on the same plane, so they'll displace one another, but all also still fall in within this confine of this general square. So first one is the easiest, and then after that it gets to be more complex because you have multiple shapes going. How are you doing? Making stuff? That's cool. It is cold outside. Did you like take Chica for a walk, or was it a quick deal? That sounds very cute. Seeing little lady tucked away. Little head poking out? Yeah. Oh, that sounds nice. Do I want this to be the direction? How do I want this to go? I think it might be easiest to have this sort of squeeze in here, as this one squeezes out underneath and comes in here, and this one comes up here and pushes that way. So I think I'm going to have it go bump, 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 and come around. Now I start to have a little bit of reaction spot. tape is done. This is a shorter tape. And this one's only like 30 minutes on either side. There it is. Okay. Now let me check the audio levels. I think that this one might run a little louder. No, it's the woodblock that I think is the loud one. Is there like a hard limiter on this? Now let's see. Filters. There's a limiter. So it doesn't go past like -30. Just make sure that Hey Sam, how's it going? You know what? I'm gonna take off that limiter. And sorry, I got super loud just then. Okay, there it goes. Hope you're doing good. I was thinking in my head I should have tested that not on live stream, but the idea of having a automated thing so I don't have to be quite as concerned about audio levels for the tapes. I don't think it got super loud, but it definitely looked like the levels got a little bit louder when I took off the... I put on a limiter and it pushed it further down, so I took the limiter in the other direction and realized I don't know what the limiter sounds like either, so I just need to test that on my own time. How are you doing, Sam? You got a dog in there. That's little Chica poking her head out. You know, it's probably not what you'd be as into, but you could make an emote that's just a Chica. Nice. Pokemon card theme. Is it that the person, you're a Charmander, you're in the card? That's what I was hoping for. Is it the sort of thing where that'd be a different sort of approach for if you were doing all those? There's a lot of Pokemon card opening videos now, or streams. If you were to take it and as soon as you get the card you're like, oh, I got this card, and then you immediately are able to put yourself in the card. I don't think that's what people are watching for. But it's a possibility. People are watching for the thrill of opening a pack without having to pay to open a pack. I'm at 10. This one's gonna need to expand quick. You want to introduce yourself as a starter Pokemon. You don't want to be too aggressive with it. You don't want to be Charizard. but you want to be a favorite. My eBay suggestion is now all old tape decks. So I just got a thing because I was looking earlier and I got excited about one that I found that is a tape cassette player that was one made to accommodate for blind folks, people who can't. I don't know what the official or the correct terminology is, but so it had like giant buttons that were really clear for people who might not be completely blind but legally blind or something like that, and it had more adjustments because people conceivably would have used cassette tapes as blind people to interact more with literature and media, so it seemed like it had more mechanical elements to it that could be interesting, but it was like $30 before shipping, and I didn't want to get into some sort of weird little bidding war last minute with folks over something that I do not need. It was an interesting piece, and I might like continue looking for kind of similar items in the future. I think the thing already ended. It was also one that was not a buy it now option. It was one that was a bidding thing. In the last few things that I've bid on, I haven't won. I forget what the last one was a bunch of pre-used cassette tapes. And I've slowly gone through one of the cassette tapes that I bought from a different lot. If you don't do much in regards to eBay purchases of large collections of outdated or vintage media, things like that, you might not be as familiar with using the term lot, but it just means you get more than one of something. And almost any time that I've looked at lots of something, it's like some vintage item that I want multiples of, but I don't need it to be good qualities. I'm glad that you know lots. And so I think the previous lot that I purchased was a bunch of vintage photographs, but I felt weird potentially utilizing them like on shirt designs or something, because I'm like, this is a family. Because like I saw a dude in like the 60s grow up essentially through the photographs. Saw him as a baby and as an adult and as a kid in between. I don't know the person, I just paid like $10 for some photographs on eBay, and now I've got cherished memories. I also kind of had that experience when I bought a lot of 8mm home videos. People might explore old Instagram feeds someday, but a lot of the time with tech stuff on the internet, people just, the accessibility of it dies much faster because there's less infrastructure. I'm curious if people are going to get more into the quality of older photographs. I think people have a bit of that for the quality of things like cell phone cameras, VHS cameras, stuff like that, but a lot of those, it's not like the same material presented in a slightly different like textural quality. It's more like this is lower resolution, so I think there's less of a, at least right now, I don't know if it'll change with time, less of a nostalgia for that sort of things. That's not cool to like have. That's I remember something at some point reading some tech bro dude at Google or something being like, if you want to save your photos, print them. Don't just assume that in a digital space they'll be there forever. Because it's, even with like image format, there's a lot of stuff that gets outdated fairly quickly and is inaccessible. Do you ever find out your password for like your photo bucket? Because I went through and found one of the first GIFs that I made and sent it to you guys not too long ago. Because there was a dude on YouTube who followed me and was like, "Hey, I'm just a noob at animating." That's shitty that you're not able to access your old photo bucket. For me, I could see things that I made for people I had crushes on that I was like, this'll do it. This photo edit that I made is gonna successfully get me a girlfriend. I don't know if that's exactly my end goal. It was also, I just wanted to impress people. And I was oblivious that it kind of was working with some people. I never did that with my MySpace. I never made it completely themed out. I think the most that I did was I just put a bunch of Flash animations that I made, but I had no idea how to make a loading bar, so I couldn't make anything particularly long. It had to be something that was more or less instantaneous on, like, I don't know what the bandwidth would have been at the time, but pretty limited speed. 48K or something. Dialing up. Did you really like Coca-Cola at the time, or was it just you were interested in the familiarity or big on the red elements of it? What was it that made you wanna... You like the red? Makes sense. You would have been like a year younger. Were you like in... I first got MySpace summer after 8th grade, going into high school. Would you have had it like in 7th grade? Was MySpace more of a middle school thing for your experience? Yeah, it was freshman year of high school, and then it started to shift towards Facebook. And then college, it was Facebook, but then I started focusing in on Tumblr. Oh yeah, banned MySpace. I did have a MySpace page where I uploaded some Fruity Loops music that I had made. That I had no idea, no essence of music theory there. It was entirely just like follow a pattern. It was a lot of scales in Fruity Loops. I don't think I bought that legally. I might have had a Fruity Loops crack. Which, sounds like I'm just making up terms. Wasn't there like an attempted revival of MySpace as a more music-centric platform where it was like, I'm Justin Timberlake and I'm pushing for MySpace? Seem to remember that, but that was like in college or later. I first had to get Facebook through an invitation because my sister was in college, but I was not. She had a .edu login. I had someone on Instagram who liked one of the little audio tracks that I had going. They said that they tried to Shazam it, and so I sent them a file of a zip file, or a link to the zip file. I was like, it's pretty basic, but maybe there's the audio quality of the fact that it sounds like it's from a cassette that is appealing in a different way to folks, and they can find interesting. Hola, Ana. And one more time with just the shapes, and then come back and do the face elements. on her faces. separate now. I'm glad that I'll finish this and then I'll flip the tape. But I'm glad that the tape makes noise when it's about to end, because otherwise that would very much surprise me more than it already does. Actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to make it so the tape is fully rewound. Now I get to adjust the audio levels, as this one goes a little bit higher. There it is. Okay, right about there. Looks good. If the music is too loud, let me know. This tape is louder. 'Cause that's how I accidentally mixed it. Go. Now I start to need to look a little bit at the first frame to see where these are meant to end up. There we go. 1 second. Okay. I got my COVID test results, and it is not detected, so that's nice. I'm gonna just. Alright, that's not the one I want to message. I want to message this person. No, I'm good. I guess I might just have a sniffly nose, but that's better. Less anxious about it. And now I don't feel like I'm a threat to people if I go to the grocery store. Which was my next sort of, well, I might go to the post office tomorrow. And I was like, I don't want to risk anybody. And so now I won't be, unless I got it from staying at home. When did I take the test? 2 days ago? Yesterday? My sense of time, not doing great. I think it was 2 days ago. Anyway, I don't have COVID as of right now. Or as of 2 days ago. That's the cool thing about tests. As such, you can get the rapid results, guys, but they're a little less accurate. Or you can get the ones that take a little bit longer, send them to a lab and what have you, but that's nice. I'd convinced myself that me having like spicy food and hot soup, well, spicy hot soup last night, that I was like, my slightly dulled senses, I was like, it's because everything's about to go off. Nope, not the case. I definitely have, this is where I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. That's a big change. That would be why. Okay, I might have to redo this one. I was like, there's a big change there. I didn't realize that I was 2 frames ahead instead of just 1. That's why. Okay. I'm gonna redo that one. My bad. There was a part of me that thought that might happen at some point, but I'm glad it happened on some like this instead of one that was a more complex thing. I can just copy these outlines again. That's easy enough. Okay, now I get to redraw this one because I accidentally did it prematurely. Alright. Now it's time to fill stuff in. Well, it's only 12 of them, but it's only 12. But there's 6 faces in each of them, 5. So it might take a minute. I don't know. We will see how it goes time-wise. Okay. Right, also... Okay, I'm still in frame. I zoomed in a little bit and wasn't sure. Another frame. Oh, number one is buried here. What do that next? I was like, I'm not on number 3 already. And then realized what had happened. Was that I took the bottom of the stack, which was actually number 2, because number 1 I had used as a reference to know what was coming up next. Yeah, this silly tiny one that I got. Did grab a second tiny one, did I not? Thought I had. There it is. Let's see if this one is a little bit better or not. I'm gonna finish painting this and then I'll flip the tape. Yeah, it's the tape flip day. That was side A, so I need to play side B. Where with the bongo one, it was side B that I played, and I wanted to just treat it as being rewound. I'll see if I get this done in 45 minutes. I'm hopeful for it. I think I can. This is number 4 out of 12. Okay, now some the cassette. This one's not very good for filling stuff in. It doesn't hold enough ink. Hey, guess I get to ban some folks. Oh, thanks. Let's see. I banned someone. I have like the generic spam filter thing is on. I think I do, which is why it's got the weird text in there to go around it. I've only had those last stream and this stream. I haven't had other spam things popping through. For having done, I don't know how many. Bigfollows.com. But now all my friends, you block people, all the friends that are from bigfollows.com. Follow only mode. Mode that makes sense. Emote only. You can only respond with my Trace Loops emote, available if you are a subscriber. what if I got enough, whatever, ability on Twitch to where I just made an entire emote alphabet so that I could mess with situations where people are trying to block any conversation. And what you end up with is just a terribly difficult way to send a message. I don't think that I have enough emotes that I can make. I think I can make like a few. I don't know. I haven't looked back into it after making the first one when I got associate, I think is the... I already forgot what it is. What the term is for when you get an average of 3 people watching, 5 people. It's dipped below that. Now it's like 4.9 or something average. It varies. Affiliate. Associate, not affiliate. Or affiliate, not associate. That makes more sense. It's like associate doesn't sound right. I have terrible posture right now. Yeah, partner I'm not close to. I've got 2 of the 3 requirements, but pretty far off for averaging out 75 viewers. I've got the other ones though, stream on 12 different days, have over 25 hours of streaming, I think. I don't know what I would need. I think I just would need to continue on and expand a bit as far as like what participation or whatever I have going on, or have actual advantages to watching live as opposed to watching recorded version or something. I'm not sure what that is, or to have more of a personality going, something or other. I don't know. Get some sort of become more ingratiated with the community on Twitch as opposed to just sort of being, here's what I'm doing. I don't really know anyone who's regularly streaming on Twitch. I've turned it into my habit now. Show more feet. If you want feet and you can bring more people in for it, I'm not terribly for it, but I'm not terribly against it. Draw more feet. How about that? Exclusively feet illustrations from now on. whenever I think about jokes about foot fetishes or stuff, I think about there was a Tumblr interaction a bit ago that was like someone posted like, if you have a foot fetish, stay 12,000 feet away from me, and then it has a photo of John Cleese going like, and it says 12,000 feet, you say. And that's what I think about when I think about foot fetish stuff. And the fact that if you search in Google Images for like any actress, the auto-complete thing that follows like Jennifer Aniston, it's like feet is the next one because it blocks out more explicit terms that are popular in searches. But it leaves feet in there. I'm trying to think the last thing Jennifer Aniston did. It's been a bit. Watched a bad movie with my sister online a few weeks ago because usually I do Saturdays since pandemic stuff was hitting. I've been watching movies remotely with some folks, and I watch with my mom and sisters on Saturday. Do like a chat thing. But I've got more in common, like pop culturally and sense of humor wise, with my older sister than I do with my mom or younger sister. And so there was a week where neither my mom nor younger sister were able to watch, and so we watched we were looking for like a bad movie that would be like a fun bad movie, but it ended up being like very slow moving, called The Bounty Hunter, starring Gerard Butler and Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston didn't have a particularly successful movie career after Friends. She was in some box office draw sort of movies, including one of a very big box office draw was Bruce Almighty. That made a lot of money, and I think it's because they combined Christianity with Jim Carrey, and people were in for it. But anyway, Bounty Hunter, not a good movie. There's a podcast I listened to that they talk about movies, and they were talking about that they go through various movies, and some of them are rom-coms, and they talk about the fact that like there's not a modern rom-com market, at least not for like bigger movie releases, maybe for Netflix and stuff like that, but not theater releases. And they said that both together and apart, Gerard Butler and Katherine Heigl helped to like make it so there would be no more romantic comedies, because they had a variety of romantic comedies that they were both featured in together and apart that did not do well financially. I think I saw The Ugly Truth in theaters, but it was when I was younger and my dad was out of town, and someone, like a 20-something-year-old woman, was watching my sister and I, and she was like, "We're gonna go see the movies with my friends if you want to," and they were like, "We're gonna go see The Ugly Truth." And that movie is predictable, believe it or not. It follows some tropes. It was like one of the first things where I was like, oh, here's the love interest that seems like an opposite, and then becomes the actual focus, the actual person, the romantic interest. It's like, these people couldn't be more different. Oh wait, they like each other. It's classic comedy, goes back. it's the structure for it. You have an initial interaction that is like, these people couldn't be worse for each other. And then, what? They want to boink. That was the title of Gerard Butler's next movie that did not do so well. Gerard Butler had a weird career too. I don't know where he's at now, movie-wise, but he was big in popularity for 300, and I think that was most of it. He was in the movie Gamer. Not a great movie either. You have Michael C. Hall doing a weird accent. This guy unplugged? Let me check some. Let's see if this runs or not. Hopefully it goes, otherwise I gotta cut out my direct camera and switch it over to being overhead. Haven't been having issues with camera staying on. Might have been that the connection got a little bit funky or something, but seems like it's staying on. Last time this happened was a while ago, and it was before I got a new charger. It has a higher voltage wattage sort of deal. Did I get this correct? No, I filled the lips in. Okay. Frame 8. Damn it. Okay. We're switching to having this guy for the last bit of this. I don't know why it's acting up in that way. Give me a moment. This is charging, correct? Yeah. This is plugged in. Yep. Let's try just switching it to the other port. Give it a couple minutes. And let's see. Hi. For the moment, you can see shortcomings there. This was here. Okay. We'll get a different view for a minute. My camera's battery messed up somehow or other. I don't know. But there you go. Can't we see something? And I'll cut the overhead back on in like 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know if because I've been running it so much the battery is just fudged a bit or what. I don't know. Or that it didn't charge last night or something. If this happens again, I might have to buy a new battery, I don't know. Different perspectives. Actually, more on that side. Adios. Okay, I'm gonna see how long this camera lasts, but in the meantime, let's get this back on and remove this. Nope, wrong one. And move it away. Back over here. I want it to be long enough to where I can at least get some version of this going. So I'm gonna work relatively quickly here. And then look at investing in a dummy battery and whether or not it'll work with this camera. That's probably pop up. Oop. Thought that the charger I had gotten would take care of things, but perhaps not. Okay. And capture that up, close this in. Says face square scans from the 29th, copy that. Other location, mark signs, 1-29-2021. Jump back and rename this to 0. New folder, paste that name. Choose that location. We're doing 600, not using custom size. Scanning. Don't turn off the camera. I've just been at a bad connection or something for charging it most recently. I don't always check the battery, but just for the quality of the battery itself, I should probably Get a dummy battery. Makes more sense. We got through what I need to get through. Okay, so now rename. Photoshop isn't even open. What? Wait 1 second, I'll have the music back running. Okay, Photoshop, files, scripts, load files into stack, browse. Desktop, live designs, 129. Those in order. Start loading those up. And no, I'm just going to flip this guy. I don't have too much time left for today's broadcast. So it is 01/29/2021 face square animation. What is this? This will be 12 frames to sketch. Yes. Okay. I'll do this in a few steps here. I'm gonna first crop this down to here. Create frame animation, make frames from layers. Make it 0.1 seconds, reverse the frames. This isn't my favorite. Anyway. I think I tried to make this one a little too simple, but it's a little bit better playing back faster. But you know what I'm going to try and do? Let's see about it without the very first frame. See if I prefer that. I think I prefer it with only 11 frames, so it's just sort of a little bit more abstracted. Let's get rid of this one and switch it out. This seems slightly more chaotic than some other things, but I still enjoy it. It's a learning thing. I think in order to do this, I need a little bit more planning to make it something that I like, or I need to make it even simpler. I think right now where it's at, it's both too simple and too complex. Like, it doesn't find a balance. I need to either make it so areas like right in here where there's this gap that's formed, I need to make it so it's more, if I do have this sort of form where it's like going down and over, make it so it's just a little bit more consistent in the shapes. I was interested in it being having these weird shapes, but I didn't fill out the space all that well. I think I would like this better if, like, as soon as something moved, everything around it shifted and still filled in that entire square. Because if I'm giving myself all these restrictions, I need to push it further. Still okay, and I'll still post it or whatever, it's still what it is. But now it's spiel time. Thank you for watching, first and foremost. If you want to watch this live stream in full, or other live streams, you can check them out, youtube.com/traceloops. If you want to buy these original stills or other original stills, this on a shirt, or some other things on shirts and additional merchandise, you can go to traceloops.com/store. If you are shipping outside of the US, there's not a native option within my web store to ship internationally, so you'll have to contact me directly, but I can work with you. It'll be a little bit more expensive just as a result of the fact that it costs more to ship internationally, but you can email me to work that out, traceloops@traceloops.com. You can also email me with just general questions, concerns, etc. If you want to follow me on platforms, you can follow me on Instagram.com/traceloops. You can also follow me on TikTok.com/@trace. Come on. Tomorrow is Saturday, which means that I will probably not be doing a full animation, shorter, some sort of illustration, maybe a blockhead, maybe some figures. Oh, I got some shirts today in the mail. Let me see. I can see what the cropping is. Including this one. So this is what like one of the figure shirts might look like if you were to purchase that. I also got this one, which I believe is still in the store. There it goes. Camera cut out. This one is a little bit harder to see what it is at a distance, but it's that face but against a solid black background, messing with that. So those are examples of what the print might look like depending on what you get. I'll go ahead and throw this on. Anyway, that's it for today's stream. Appreciate you watching. Those things are links and such. And plan on being back tomorrow with a shorter basic illustration. Adios.